Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to understand three very important SharePoint column type, which is choice column, lookup column, and person column. And then we will see how to filter and search them properly in Power App using gallery control. So this is a very practical real world scenario that you will be using in almost every Power App. So let's get started. This is the SharePoint list employee request which I have created. It has the title column and I have created department status and priority column. These three columns is a choice column type. Just see how exactly it looks. So the name of the column is status and the type is a choice column. And if you see, I have some predefined value for this column type. So choice column allows user to select a predefined value instead of just typing any random values. So just like this column, I have all other column which has a predefined value. So for department, I have IT, HR, finance, and marketing. And for priority column, I have created choices say low, medium, high, and critical. It also has a comments column, which is a free text column. So I'm just going to create one more column, which is a person type column. And let's call it requested by. Let's check what exactly are in the advanced options. So these are the setting basically which you get on top of while we create a column type person. So this is one of the complex column which we have in SharePoint site. And this column stores display name, email ID, department, or job title. So basically it store user information. So if you are an employee, it is going to store your profile picture, your email address, display name or full name. Then it will also store your job title or department. So these kind of information is stored whenever we create a person or group type column. Now we will understand what is lookup column. So lookup column is also one of the complex column in SharePoint and it is basically linked to another list. So it acts like a choice column, but lookup column pulls data from another SharePoint list. So if I click on any of the edit property of the column, if you see these choices are stored while we are creating the column, right? But when we create a lookup column, those data is not stored while creating it because it is linked to another SharePoint list and from there it is going to pull the data. So let's understand this in very practical way. So I have created one more list and I'm going to create one column. So if you're creating this column for lookup column so that it will map and pulls the value from this column, make sure you're not using a person column. So here we are just going to use the text column. Click on text. We'll create employee. And here I'm just going to add few record. Click on exit grid view. Go back to our SharePoint site. And here we are going to create column type lookup. Let's call it manager. So here if you see the type is lookup, but below that it is asking select the list as a source. So we have to specify which is that list which this column is going to pull data from. And here you have to select which is the column you want to map. So in this case, we have just created the employee column. Now let's try creating a record. If I click on manager, this is basically pulling the data from the employees column. Save it. This is displaying the exact value we just stored. And now we are going to discuss how we are going to use a choice, lookup, and a person type column in our Power App to filter and search the data. So let's go back to our Power App. I'm going to create a new screen. Let's just insert a gallery quickly. Now we are going to add other column as well, which is required in the gallery, and the same will be using for search. So let's click on text label, and it has automatically detected the another column which is priority. We'll create another one, and we are going to map this with. Let's first refresh our data source. So whenever we use a choice column or a lookup column in Power App, that column is treated as a record in Power App. That is exactly why we must use dot value, that instead of the entire data source, which is entire choice columns, it will pull the exact value for this particular record. So we use dot value for choice or if it is a lookup column. Now I'm quickly going to work on the column arrangement of the gallery so that it will look little eye pleasing from user perspective. So I have done little bit of formatting in my gallery and also added the label on top of it. And now we are going to add a drop down. So this drop down we are going to use for the choice column, which is department. So first thing first, we have to specify the column name. So it will be choices because it's a choice column, and from employees detail list dot department. Perfect. Now this has selected a default value, and to make sure that it can also select a blank value, we'll go to the allow empty selection and make it to true, so that it will also allow to select a null or a blank value. So if I deselect this, cool. So now let's see how we are going to add that filter into our gallery. So we'll select the filter, go to the formula bar, and here we are going to pass the control value so that it will filter the gallery item depending on the selection of the drop down. So first we'll do filter, and then we have to provide the data source, which is employees detail, then separated by comma, and then we will add the logic. In this case, it's department, which is our column name, dot value because this is a choice column, should be equal to the drop down dot selected dot value. Cool. Now if you try playing the app, it is not going to display any data because in our filter we have not added any blank condition. So let's do that first. So we are going to merge it with a closing braces, and then we will add a logic that either it can be selected dot value or it can also be a blank value. Cool. So if it is selected as blank, it is going to display everything, and if it is selected as any of the other type, it is going to display the same. Now we are going to add another filter, and that is also a drop down. With this drop down, we are going to filter with manager because this is a lookup column. Let's first add the drop down values. So in this case, it will be distinct of the employees list and the name of the column manager dot value. So distinct is one of the function in Power App that is going to give you the distinct of the given parameters. So first the data source and the second parameter is the column name. Let's test this out. Cool. Now for this drop down as well, we are going to first enable the allow empty value. So it's true, and we'll add the same to our gallery control. So let's copy the control first. Go to the gallery. Here we are going to add control because we want both the filter to work at the same time. So we are going to add and after this logic. Manager dot value should be equal to the drop down dot selected value. And we are also going to add or so that it will allow a blank value as well. Let's just merge this. Format the text. Now let's test this out. Both the filter is working at the same time. And now we are going to add filter for people picker, which is requested by column. Let me just first change this to and I'm going to display cool. Now we'll add one more control. So let's copy this and paste it. So in the items property, we are going to pass the requested by column. So it will be requested by dot display name. And we have added distinct because if you see, there might be more than one records in the SharePoint list that has the multiple entry with the requested by. So Saurabh has more than one entry and Suyog is also has one more than one entry. So that is exactly why we have used distinct function so that when we use the drop down, it will only give you the distinct value and not the entire list. Now we are going to add the same to our gallery control. So we are going to add a and here again. Then we'll do requested by dot display name should be equal to drop down dot selected value, and we are going to add a or so that it will also display when it is blank. So is blank dot selected. Superb. Now let's test this first. So if you see, this filter is not currently working because I have selected Aarti and this is not displaying me the actual result. So let's just test the formula. So make sure that whenever you are adding a or a and condition, because this entire code is checking if the department is selected as the drop down or if it is blank or not. And after that, you make sure you have added a closing braces for this condition. So this is the closing braces for this entire code. Let's check for other one. Now if you see, this opening braces and this is the closing braces, which is incorrect because this condition should end over here. So as despite adding it over there, we'll add it here and remove it from here. Now let's test this out. So to select a blank, you have to click the selected value again, and this will give you the blank value. Cool. Now we are going to add a small search bar as well. So let's insert a input text. So to make this search box work, we have to add this search box to our gallery control. We have to add one more filter so that it will filter whatever we search in the search box. And we'll add a start with. Then we have to specify the column we want to search. So I want to search with title and then the text box. Cool. Then we have to add one more logic so that it will work even if it's a blank. Now let's understand this quickly. So this filter is basically applied to this data source, and then we have added multiple logic, and the first logic is on the department column. So this part of the code is basically going to check for the choice column, which is the department column, and it will check if the department dot value is the drop down selected value or if it is a blank. So even if it's the selected value or if it's blank, it will work. We have applied this and so that not just this condition, also the other logic which we have just added, that will also work together. So this part of the code is going to check for the lookup column, and then this one is for person and group column, and this is the same logic we applied for other column. And lastly, we have added a search, and for that we have added start with function, and then we have provided the column name we want to search with and the text box where we are going to enter the value. So this kind of logic and feature you are going to use in most of your Power App, and that is why this is one of the most important topic, because we have just covered lookup, choice and person type column. We have added multiple filters as well as the search. And just remember, these types of columns are not a simple text, they are records. And that is exactly why we must use dot value or dot display name or email addresses. In this video, we learned about what is choice, lookup, and person column, how to filter them in Power App, how to combine, filter, and search. So if you find this video helpful, please do like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.